Good afternoon, Leeds United fans. So this is a video I've been wanting to make for a few days now, and it's just took me a little bit of time to sit down and actually do it because I want to talk about the Leeds United transfer window. Definitely in my memory, the most dramatic roller coaster ride we've had in a long time. Maybe 2007, maybe that was a little bit more, but this has been crazy, just from things like contract clauses to players not wanting to play, to bringing new players in, to new manager, new owners, everything. It just seems like it's had a little bit of everything. Now the window is officially closed and we have settled down. I think it's time to talk about who's gone, who's come, who's stayed, and everything in between. So I'm going to get into it. I've made some notes on where all the different players are at, and I'm going to work through it roughly in chronological order. So we'll start with the players that left us, and these left on loan. So as soon as the transfer, actually before even that happened, we sold Tyler Roberts. So Tyler Roberts left pretty soon after the end of the season and the transfer window opened. We sold Tyler Roberts to Birmingham for 430k. That's in euros, so I think it's about 400 grand in pounds anyway. A lot of these are in euros, so I'll try and convert. But yeah, Roberts left. I was happy about that. Like, don't get me wrong, he's probably a really nice guy. He might end up being a good footballer somewhere, but he wasn't a good footballer at Leeds, and I was really happy to see him move on. I think he went and got injured. I don't know whether he's had any impact to Birmingham, but yeah, good riddance. So after Roberts, we started hearing a few things about Forshaw and Robles being out of contract and not being offered another contract. Then they were kind of offered to come and train with the team, and then that didn't materialise. And eventually Robles moved on and Forshaw has now signed for Norwich. That happened at the end of the transfer window. But yeah, that was a bit of a surprising one. Didn't expect to see that. Then came the whole loan clause. We heard whispers and links and lots of chatter that these players were all going to get wage cuts if we went down into the Championship. But how Victor Orta had got them to agree to wage cuts was by offering them a loan clause, meaning if we got relegated, they could leave for a year on loan. I mean, how does that work? Of course they're going to choose that. So you either have the choice to stay at Leeds United that's just been relegated to the Championship and get paid half as much, or you can get your wages fully paid and go away and play at a higher level in Europe somewhere for a year. Like, that's just baffling to me. And some of the players, I just don't blame them. It's sport, isn't it? It's performance. You want to be playing at the highest possible level that you can. So what would you do if you were offered in your job? Say, for example, you work in Starbucks, right? And Starbucks, you had the option to keep working in the same store through loyalty, but you're going to get paid half as much, but you really like it there. Or you can go to the store that's just opened down the road, that's probably a little bit nicer, doing a little bit better, a little bit less stress there, and you'll get paid the same amount you're on now. I think you're going to choose that one. So I'm not defending any of the players because they're the ones that got us sent down, and obviously I don't welcome many of them back to the club. But the whole staying and fighting thing and fighting for the shirt seems to be getting lost in modern day football. So the players that we lost on loan, we had Robin Koch, who we actually got a loan fee of £500,000 basically, but he's not going to be returning because his contract ends next year anyway. So that's probably the last of Robin Koch. Then we also had Aronson, who he's not had a great start over at Union Berlin. He went on loan there. Hopefully his value rises because we paid a lot of money for Brendan Aronson. So we need him to do well so that we can sell him on for more, hopefully next summer. So the jury's out on that one. I don't like him as a player, but I want him to do well so we can get our money back. We need that for our profit and sustainability. Who else left? Rasmus and Llorente both went to Roma, and it has not gone well for Rasmus. He's made a bad decision there, I think. He's not shone there. He's not been named in their Europa squad. I'm not sure how Llorente's doing. But again, players like Rasmus, we're going to struggle to ever recoup the money we spent on him. So it's probably in everyone's best interest if next summer we were able to just get any kind of transfer fee for him. Who else left on loan? We also have Voba. So Voba was a funny one because a lot of people seem to think that he was going to stay and fight, and there's a lot of fake news around that. And he was good last year. Well, he was better than the others last year. I liked him in the terms of that squad. But I'd have liked to see him stay with us in the Championship. But bringing in Joe Rodon, 100% happier with that one. So Voba, again, is he going to return to Leeds United? I'm not sure. I think he would be probably more welcome than some of the others because we did see potential in him. So yeah, I think that goes through most of the early season loans. In amongst all the there was Rocker as well. Rocker, who's actually doing really well. And apparently, don't know how accurate this is, he was ringing up Spanish clubs and begging to be able to go there. I can't imagine Rocker returning, and I just don't think he was that good. He didn't fit us. Maybe it was the system, I don't know, but no loss to me. So in amongst all those loan deals, selling Roberts, Forshaw and Robles ending their contracts, we had Rodrigo, who we spent a lot of money on Rodrigo, 27 million potentially, and we had some good service out of him. We had some good times with Rodrigo. I think he did okay for the money. He did okay, but we sold him for 3 million. That's just mental. 3 million for a player like Rodrigo is crazy. I know he's a little bit older, but we could have got more money in there. What was Orta thinking putting that contract clause in? So yeah, that was kind of it in terms of early season. And then we were all kind of praying that we would just keep hold of our better players. We got Cresswell on a new contract. That was good. That was a really good bit of business for me because Charlie Cresswell, he's got the potential there. Getting him on a new contract, even if he can't forge his way into this Leeds squad, which I really hope he does, we can sell him for a decent amount of money. And that contract hopefully doesn't have any of the Victor Orta crap in it. Where we are, I'm trying to keep this kind of chronological order right. So let's go with some incomings. So incoming, we had first up Ampadu. So Ampadu came in, and I think everyone was excited. I think there was a lot of people maybe shocked that we managed to get him. And there was a lot of early season talk about Nat Phillips and other players, and Ampadu just came out of nowhere. And I think we were all really pleased that the 49ers were getting good business done, kind of under the radar. And I think Ampadu has been our best signing. Ampadu has been absolutely class so far. I think he's exactly what we needed. And he's one of those players who's too good for the Championship and not quite good enough for the Prem, but could develop into a Premier League quality player. While we're on about Ampadu, let's talk about Archie Gray. Although he's not a new signing, he's a product of the academy. It kind of feels like it because he stepped up at 17 from the under-21s, from the academy into that first team. And I think Archie Gray is one to look out for, but we've also got to look after him as well. So from there, let's talk about the whole Nonto Sinisterra situation. So Nonto took a lot of the brunt of it, and Sinisterra kind of flew under the radar. Farker kind of did that because he said the Sinisterra issue was related to contracts and clauses and lawyers and things like that. And I think we all then kind of naively thought, oh, yeah, they're just trying to sort that out because he wants to stay. He did not want to stay. He wanted to leave. Nonto didn't want to stay. He wanted better, but Nonto had nothing in his contract. And after a lot of drama, a lot of negativity, Nonto and Sinisterra took to the field again. We'll come back to Sinisterra, because now I'm going to go through a couple more of our incomings. Darlow. We all thought when Darlow came in, that's because we were going to lose Meslier. And I think losing Meslier, I think we all thought it was inevitable because we needed to sell some assets, and Meslier was a sellable asset. However, he stayed. He's still at the club and he's playing better again. So Darlow is now our number 2 keeper, who in the 2 games he's had for us in the Cup really has struggled. So I don't know where that's going to head to. Maybe have we lied to Darlow? Have we sold him something that's not true? I'm not sure, but at least we have good backup there in the keeper position. So we're going to go from there into, we'll talk about Adams, Tyler Adams. So there was a lot of talk, a little bit like Voba, a lot of fake news about, oh, we're going to keep Tyler Adams. He wants to play for the shirt. He wants to stay and fight. I didn't believe a lot of it. He was injured as well, so maybe him being injured maybe felt like, oh, we can keep him. But no, Tyler Adams, we sold him to Bournemouth. There was a lot of chat about whether he would or wouldn't go according to the clauses in the contract and things like that. But around 23 million, I think, was a good price. He didn't play a lot of football for Leeds, so it was one of them. I think get that money in, and getting the money in from Tyler Adams meant we finally had some money in the club that we could dish back out. And we did. We went for Roden on loan. We got Byram on a free, which was interesting. He was on trial with us, and then we managed to sort the Byram situation out. Although he's picked up an injury, I think he's a really good signing for us. But yeah, back to Roden. We got Roden for a year from Spurs, and I think that's a great addition to the defence. We also have brought in Pirro, and Pirro was the big one. It was finally the club doing the obvious thing. We need a striker, sign the best striker in the division, and they did it. And I think that was huge. There's obviously a little bit of a situation with will he play 9, will he play 10, how's it all going to work out? But he's going to score goals, he's going to have off games, and he's going to have brilliant games. And I'm here for it. Let's just ride that wave, because I think Pirro could be our signing of the season. At the moment, for me, it's Ampadu, but it could end up being Pirro. So then we heard all about it could be Nonto again, he could be off to Everton again, and it was Jack Harrison on yet another loan clause. A lot of us I don't think we were too fussed about Harrison leaving. I think we all thought Harrison was one of the ones who would leave, but we thought, again, he was a sellable asset that we could get some money from and we could spend on players. But to go out on another loan deal and to Everton, that one was a bit of a shock. It was a bit of a surprise. Again, he's injured, so he's not played yet. But yeah, that was a bit of a frustrating one. So then it came down to the final week of the transfer window, and Leeds started doing a little bit more business. So in that final week, we brought in Kamara, which we had been chasing for so long. The Kamara thing just seemed to roll and roll and roll. I was thinking he's never going to come, but we got Kamara in and we got Gruev in. So that bolstered our midfield, and that was a relief to have two midfielders there to cover for Ampadu and Gray, and to maybe not cover, but be alternates. I think that was big business for us. So that was Gruev and Kamara, and then Spence came in on a loan with a loan fee of around $1 million. And I think that, again, was the club doing the obvious thing. Luke Ayling doesn't have the legs anymore to play that right-back position. He'll be able to have a part in the squad this season, but we needed to bring in Spence. And from what we've seen already, that's proven to be a really good signing. And then it came down to the final few hours, and it was all talk on Sinisterra. Would Sinisterra leave? Would he go? And eventually Sinisterra left and he went to Bournemouth. And you guessed it, it was another loan deal. It was the final kind of hit of the transfer window. Yes, we got to keep a lot of other players that we wanted, like Sinisterra, Somerville Rutter, Nonto, Somerville Rutter, but to lose Sinisterra, who had the potential to be brilliant in the Championship, was frustrating. He is, however, maybe a little bit overhyped in terms of what he's actually done for Leeds since he's been here. He's been injured a lot and his injury record's not great. Hopefully he does okay at Bournemouth so we can get a good sale out of him next year, or he may return, who knows. And the one that went under the radar was, as Sinisterra left, we actually got the swap deal for Jadon Anthony coming the other way. And Bournemouth fans weren't too happy with this because he's played well in pre-season and he'd started Premier League games. And I think this could be an under-the-radar, very good, astute signing for us. So we've got him on a loan deal. And that brings us to the current day. So that is all the outgoings and the incomings. And there was a couple more loans on the last day as well. So we'll get into that. So obviously Sinisterra. Sam Greenwood, I think it was with 2 or 3 days to go, he went on loan to Middlesbrough. I'm bracketing these differently. So these loan deals were ones where they're kind of developing players. It's not as big as the ones like Harrison and Sinisterra and things like that. So Greenwood out to Borough, I think that's a good move. Get some good football in him. Hopefully he has a good time there, comes back to Leeds and we're all good. Then we have Sonny Perkins. Perkins, there's little question marks about his attitude. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does out on loan. And then Cody Drameh. And I don't think Cody Drameh will return to the club because he's only got a year left on his contract. And it's just never worked for him at Leeds. He's done well elsewhere, but not at Leeds. So I'm grouping them together. And then that only leaves one player with a question mark over him. And that is Helder Costa. And who has a clue what Helder Costa's up to? He doesn't want to play for Leeds and Leeds don't want him to play for us. We're still paying him wages and he's just chilling at Thorpe Arch. So yeah, that's all the incomings, outgoings. And then we have a few injuries. We've got Cooper, Bamford and Dallas, who we all don't really know how long they're going to be out for. And then we've got Firpo, who could be coming back very soon. And we've got Joseph and Poveda, who are pretty much back from injury. and that is Leeds transfer window. Sorry it's a little bit all over the place. I've tried to keep it chronological, but yeah, I have darted backwards and forwards here and there. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. It's the longest video I've ever done on YouTube. So if you've made it this far, comment below because you are a real one. Let me know what kind of longer form videos you want me to do next. And yeah, thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, all that good stuff.